Today's discussion is all about startup journey.
So important for the young generation, and Pakistan has a youth bulge. So these are the conversations that we should be having.
So tell us, is it a right approach if they don't have any business background?
Students, once they graduate, they have a couple of options. One is to join their family business or start something on their own.
When you are on job, the board is belong to the captain and you are just enjoying sitting in that board. You are saying this?
Yeah, बिल्कुल.
Okay.
You know, it's like आपके घर के दरवाजे के बाहर गोल्ड पड़ा हुआ है,
वहाँ से गोल्ड
और वहाँ पे अपना गोल्ड खर्च करना है.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome, entrepreneurs, gentlemen, ladies, innovators, and dreamers to an enlightening and knowledgeful episode, BizT at USA, brought to you by Faculty of Management Sciences, University of South Asia. The thematic area of today's BizT is Startup Spotlight. So today's discussion is all about startup journey, where your passion meets your innovations, where dreams take new flights. So the entrepreneurs, you are on board, fasten your seatbelts and get ready to explore and discover the new and winning strategies of market and cutting edge practices that will propel your business ideas to new skies. I am Rabia Shehzad, your podcaster, and I am thrilled to have a very worthy guest with us today, Ms. Kehkashan Awan. Ms. Kehkashan Awan is a very iconic business and management consultant and coach. She has a wide and diverse experience over the 30 years. She has worked in business and startup management in HR consultancy in Pakistan and Asia. Her consulting portfolio includes business in fintech, FMCG, medical services, waste management, and education sector. Last but not the least, Ms. Kehkashan Awan is also an actress who captured the attention of mainstream media, where she played a role of Angie in a very iconic and classical drama serials of PTV, Dhoop Kinare, I guess in 90s. So thank you very much, Ms. Kehkashan Awan, joining us today at BizT. Let's dive into the discussion formally, that is startup. So first thing I would like to ask, it has been observed that if you ask from any student, what do you want to do in coming 5 years and what is your vision? They said, we want to become entrepreneurs. We want to have our own businesses. So tell us, is it a right approach if they don't have any business background, if they don't have sufficient capital, if they don't have sufficient investment to do so, but they have urge to start their own businesses? So is it a right approach for students?
Thank you so much for inviting me to this talk, which is so important for the young generation, and Pakistan has a youth bulge. So these are the conversations that we should be having. So yes, students, once they graduate, they have a couple of options. One is to join their family business or to look for a job, whether with the government or the private sector. Or start something on their own. The third one seems to appeal to the new generation a lot, like you're saying, perhaps because we have, for the past 20-25 years, we have heard so many success stories, whether that's in the IT area or whether that's, brands that have come up and just sort of, people have been extremely successful. Now, when you compare the success of the entrepreneurs that we study about internationally, then, and we compare the trajectory of a career, let's say, even with a family business or with a corporation, then the difference is huge. So I think in many ways people feel that they would rather be those very extremely successful billionaires than follow a career where becoming a billionaire is not possible. So that could be one of the reasons, could be how we want to compose this career, and how success is defined. At the same time, so this could be one of the reasons.
So you are saying it's kind of normative influence they are getting. Everybody is sharing his or her success stories, or they say they are trapped in kind of normative influence. That's the reason they are choosing this.
It could be that the peer influence is very strong, like you're saying, and the other could be that they have grown up talking about and reading about people who started their business from the garage or the basement, and within 10 years became extremely successful and successful globally. So perhaps that could be one of the reasons where they feel that, look, if they can do it, we can do it as well, and why not? Right? Why not? At the same time, your question is totally pertinent. Whether it's the right approach to building a career, because in many ways, you burn your boats if you right after completing your education start up something and give it 10 years of your life, and if you're not successful, then the option of re-entering or of looking at a job might be less.
Yes, perfect. In fact, my second question, you have addressed it, but I want in-depth analysis over it. It has been also observed that if you are working in a multinational, and if you are working in a good corporate, and you are getting a good and sound package with very sound perks, maybe cars and some kind of bonuses, still if you ask from that person, what do you want to do, as you said you also transit just to fulfill your vision to have your own kind of business. If you ask from those person, what is your vision? You are having a very sound job, but what is your vision? There is a tendency they will not say this, we want to become the CEO of this firm where I am working right now. They said, I want to start my own agency, I want to run my own business. But looking the polo crisis situation in Pakistan, where we are stuck in economic crisis, financial crisis, political crisis, geographical crisis, is it a right approach for a Jobian who is earning a very sound amount per month? His or her bank is secured with a sound amount, but still he and she is thinking to start his or her own business. Is it a right approach for a Jobian existing situations?
That's a tough question. That's again a very relevant and a very difficult question to answer. So let's consider what is going on. So one is that someone has a dream, and that dream is not getting fulfilled by the organization or their current role. So they're a bit restless, right? The other is that they are not happy with the organization or the industry or how things are, and they want to really have nothing to do with it, and running the their own business is basically an escape from the difficult environment they're in. So there are two things. One is the dream, that one is really chasing a dream, and the other is sort of wanting to move away from an unpleasant work experience. I think when people are thinking about this, they need to talk to a lot of people, people in the industry. If they have a dream but not a solid business model, then they need to work on the business model and not really, as I said, really give up on what they have already accomplished. And again, mentors and coaches can help them maybe tackle the issues that they have in their current career. So not to give up the career on an emotional decision, but to have the strategy, to have the business model. So entrepreneurship is 10 times tougher than a job. It pays. It is risky as well.
It is your own word. It is your own word.
It is. It is.
When you are on job, the board is belong to the captain, and you are just enjoying sitting in the board. You are saying this.
Yeah, bilkul.
Okay. So next question is a bit in alignment with this thing. If a person who just say goodbye to his very good job, and now he and she has entered, and he and she has running his own business, but somehow after 1 or 2 years he realized that this is not working at all. Might be this is the worst decision I have taken in my life, so I should go back to the industry. I should find some job, a new job. But market is not ready to accept him due to the gap which he created. So what is the right approach for that kind of student, for that kind of person who was enjoying a good job, but his vision and his dream is to start his or her own business? He started that somehow, but after starting he realized, no, it's not working at all. Job was very a sound thing. I should go back to the industry. Now, how we can use this gap at our resume? How can we, influence the person? Yes, I started my business. Should I say straightforward, sorry, that was a mistake? How can we communicate the failure of our businesses when we are entering in the market?
Okay. And this is something that happens, right? It's not a hypothetical question. Yes. It's bound to happen.
There are a lot of stories.
So let's look at how the recruiters are thinking, right? So in my own experience of recruiting, there comes a point within the CV shortlisting or the interviewing process where you actually pose the question, what is the one risk with this individual? What is the one probable, the one probable concern about recruiting this one individual. If the recruiters feel that this is someone who is not really interested in a career with organizations and will maybe in a couple of years move on to complete the unfinished business which was their own portfolio, then they might not proceed with the recruitment, the selection. At the same time, if the person is extremely talented, has integrity, honestly explains on the CV and in the interviews that, look, I thought the world is out there, is going to accept the product, my innovation, but it didn't work out. So I'm still.
It can work. It is how you are going to cash it.
It can work, and through this opportunity that you've given me to speak, I would also like to send this message to the HR functions that so they're not to discriminate, basically, right?
If there are some stories, open your doors for themselves as well.
Yeah, let people provide the continuity in the career, but then the individual has to ensure that, look, it's not that they're unstable in terms of commitment, but it's just that life happened.
Perfect one. Yeah. At the start of the session, you said that entrepreneurs who are going to, in fact, and who really want to have their businesses, they should go for some kind of workshops, they should go for mentors, for mentorship. So how important is collaboration and networking within the startup community in Pakistan? Do you think we have a kind of notable incubator centers, co-work places where people can find some kind of community and they can help out?
The answer, the black and white answer to this is that we don't have the infrastructure. Maybe for one industry we do, maybe for IT we do, but if someone wants to work on some product innovation in agriculture or textile, so they will they'll find it difficult to connect with the right people. So I think the entrepreneurs need to understand very clearly that they are on their own, basically. And even the success stories that we talk about from other countries are people who started their work on their own from their basements or garages and all. So having said that, there are places where in urban Pakistan where people can find workspaces and maybe find some collaboration from there. The entrepreneur exists because the entrepreneur has a business model which is an innovation, or a product that is an innovation, or a service that is an innovation, right? So they're trying to do something new, and so where do they work on their product and also keep it confidential and have it copyright protected? These are things that they need to perhaps learn before jumping into their own startup.
Yes, perfect one. One more thing which I want to really ask from you, where do you think startups can only do in Pakistan, or we have some other regions where Pakistani can go and start their kind of businesses? Explain some of the regions where we can go and we can start our businesses other than Pakistan, because everybody is want to move abroad. Whenever you discuss with every students, they are saying we want to go the ABC country, ABC region, because they are very secured one. So other than Pakistan, what you suggest to our students they should go for that particular region for any startup?
So sitting in Pakistan, they could be servicing those regions as well, right? So because the new business world is really about your laptop and internet connection, right? So if you want to be a solopreneur, which is one person who's going to design something or has a skill which is marketable globally, so they join those communities on the net, and if they want to take their laptop to Europe or America and sit there and pay 10 times or 20 times the rent and 200 times the food cost, then they need to sort of really
so you're saying
understand.
We should save the sinking ship of Pakistan's economy.
I think Pakistan is still, even with our hyperinflation, if we look at the food and rent, we're still one of the most reasonable countries as compared to others. So if my work is going to be all on my laptop, then basically I need to put my laptop where my cost is minimum. And also we must remember, if we're talking about the young entrepreneurs, not the older generations like myself, then from between 20 and 35 is the time when you're building assets in your life, right? Material assets, because let's face it, you will need to own an apartment or a home or some assets by the time you retire. Especially as an entrepreneur, you will not be drawing an income from anywhere, right? So if between 20 and 35 you're also working, saving, building assets, then you need to really see where can you live where the costs are minimum, and if the costs are higher elsewhere, then perhaps you're not being all that practical about being an entrepreneur. So we talk a lot about geopolitical situations, exactly, and how our location on the world map drives us to be a certain way, right? But we must also look at how this serves us. For example, if we look at the BRICS model, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These are the this is the not even the future global powers. The transition has already started. So with such a rich neighborhood, how can we go wrong?
So we are unable to find that magic box, nothing else. We have everything in Pakistan. We are surrounded by a very rich countries, and if they are getting progress by leaps and bounds in days, so we are just unable to find that black box.
Yeah, we're I think we're not focusing, like you're saying, we're not focusing on the opportunity at our doorstep. You know, it's like आपके घर के दरवाजे के बाहर गोल्ड पड़ा हुआ है एंड आप कह रहे हैं नहीं जी मैंने फ्लाइट लेके कहीं और जाना है
वहाँ से गोल्ड
और वहाँ पे अपना गोल्ड खर्च करना है.
Perfect.
Right? And then the thing is, look at the population of Pakistan itself. We have a huge consumer market, and if we're able to manage the right product mix, we can be very successful in this market as well. So that's, I feel that the business model and sitting here and creating a business model that can serve consumers across borders is, I think, really the spirit of entrepreneurship.
So you're saying business model and business plan is the bone marrow of startup? That is the bone marrow. So the whole focus and the entire focus for an entrepreneur should be on which business model is relevant to use sitting in Pakistan. If they are going for a business model which can be work in ABC country and that business model is very successful in that country, might be that will not work in Pakistan. So we should choose the right business model. That is what you are saying. Okay.
What is it, or the service, that what is it, and when, ages ago, 20 years back, when we were talking about global marketing, we were really looking at markets across countries, across the globe. So in terms of demographics and psychographics, we were looking at markets across the globe. So an entrepreneur is basically servicing that market, or serving the consumers in that market beyond borders. So it's, define your market in terms of consumer psychographics and demographics, and not in terms of countries and boundaries.
Yes, perfect. Okay, thank you very much, and what valuable insights I am grasping from you. Last question, as I'm an academia person, so what is the role of academic institutions? How we can develop our students in a form or in a kind that they, whenever they are entering in the market, having a mindset like they want to conduct their own businesses, what kind of training, what kind of courses and disciplines academia should inculcate during their degrees? Kindly explain.
I think probably 70% of the work can be done by academic institutions, because let's face it, the outside world has changed, and when students graduate from a business school, they step into an environment where their skills and knowledge contribute to the business community. So in terms of the academic mix, I think the mix on business studies needs to be reviewed at least, right? Because I think in many ways, hopefully we will be in a situation where there will be more jobs for the young generation, but chances are that that's not going to happen for the next 5 to 10 years. It's just not happening. That kind of job creation is not available, and therefore the whole demand of the business world now is to have people who can independently think, act, seek resources, and are able to sustain the businesses. So to me, I see the future of business as many small businesses, which maybe in the next 50 years will get consolidated into larger businesses. But I see businesses of 20, 25, 30 people and doing very well. And the problem is that we need to introduce small businesses as a mission critical academic value addition to the whole process.
I hope and I am praying that we really inculcate the advices you just bring on the table in our academic perceptions. Right now, our BBA students, it's a compulsory. They have to present their final year business ideas to get the degree. So we will try our best to inculcate these insights in our academic institutions. So to all inspiring entrepreneurs, take heart in the knowledge that startup journey is not for the faint of heart. It requires and demands resilience, adaptability, and determinations. Thank you so much, Ms. Kekisha, for joining us and spreading the valuable insights over the topic. Thank you very much. So until we meet again, all the entrepreneurs, dream big, seize opportunities, and embark on your own journey towards entrepreneurship. Thank you very much.